What is up, everybody? I'm NoLuxGiven, and today we are going to be taking another look at Zippy the Zombie, which is a really powerful hero that opens up a ton of different possible decisions. You see a bunch of treasures and can do some really powerful stuff. And this game is not going to disappoint. We get off to a pretty nice start getting to lock onto this forbidden fruit, and I wound up going for the goat on turn one, just so that way if my opponent had like a polywoggle or something as the fates, they wouldn't be able to slay against me. And then I'll wind up picking up rainbow unicorn on turn two, but it's really nice to get a strong start as Zippy, so that way you can start killing off some of your opponent's characters and getting that evil twin clock ticking down, and my opponent even contributes a little bit extra by throwing a black cat at us, so that's nice. And I'm just going to continue to try to play as strong as I possibly can for the current board state, and then once we start getting those evil twins and get a little bit of a power spike from those, we'll start messing around. But for right now, let's just grab the tiny and the labyrinth minotaur, or the baby root rather, putting both of the tiny and the labyrinth minotaur in front of that baby root. So that way, we've got some really strong characters here on this 2.2 turn. I even think that I'm potentially strong enough that I consider selling off the rainbow unicorn in order to go for that for glory. We see that my opponent also went for a for glory there, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And then on 3.0, I am just going to pick up both of these 3-cost characters. I think that Wicked Witch can be pretty good on Zippy the Zombie because you wind up making additional evil characters. But I also want some good characters that I can evil twin, and that's the reason that I pick up Ogre Princess. I brought this up before, but generally I like using an evil twin on some 3-cost characters, with the main idea being maybe we can find a crystal ball and kind of do like a Wonder Waddle impression even more. I brought this up a lot during Wonder Waddle week, but that's what we're going to be doing in this game as well. A topic came up recently on Discord on the idea of forcing mage comps on Zippy the Zombie. And forcing is always such an awkward term in Storybook Brawl because I don't think you really want to force comps, but you do want to try. You do want to try to make some wacky things happen and some powerful things happen, and for that it is a reasonable idea to at least take a look for Crystal Ball. And then if you don't find it, okay, you move on, you do some other powerful things with this powerful hero, but you give yourself the opportunity to find it, and this is something that I've talked about as well in previous videos. Actually, there was a video that I put on the channel all the way back in April called Press Your Luck, and that was a Wonder Waddle video as well. So there's another parallel between Zippy the Zombie and Wonder Waddle. We get a really nice slay here with Ogre Princess because it gets pumped up with the Wicked Witch. We are going to take some damage to Wonder Waddle, in fact, but our Ogre Princess winds up giving us a free Wicked Witch, which gives us a tier 3 treasure, and that allows us to find a crystal ball pretty early on here. So that's really fun. And now one other thing that we can do is we can use a Beauty's Influence, and then we'll be able to make additional copies of whatever we influence. So I throw that Beauty's Influence onto the Wicked Witch, seeing that there is another one in the shop, and then part of the idea here is that maybe I could sell off the golden chicken, pick up this forbidden fruit, and pick up the Wicked Witch, and then I'm potentially building towards additional tier 3 treasures right now. Now, I don't know if I really need excuse me, additional tier 3 treasures when I already have the crystal ball, so ultimately I'm not going to go for it. I'm just going to hold on to my econ into level 4 and potentially do something with it next turn. So that's kind of the idea here. We wind up getting some more additional econ there by taking out my opponent's prize pig, so that's really nice, and then we're able to clean it up with my ranged units there. awkwardly, because my opponent had some summons, we wind up actually getting the Evil Twin this turn, and our hand was full, so we'll have to use it on something right now in this shop. So that is going to be that Ogre Princess, and that is going to find us Merlin's hat. So ultimately, it all worked out for us, but that is definitely something to be aware of. It's kind of hard, excuse me, to play around Ogre Princess or play around your Evil Twin when you have Ogre Princess on Zippy the Zombie, because it just means the Ogre Princesses fill up your hand and then you don't have space for the Evil Twins anyways, so it can all get a little bit awkward. Not going to be too upset here though, as we obviously have an extremely strong board and we get to pick up a Skips Puzzle Rune as well. I'm just going to pick up a Lightning Dragon to finish off the turn as I kind of run out of time and don't want to not be able to spend my gold, though I would have loved to have picked up that Spellweaver instead. It doesn't matter though, we deal a bunch of damage to Muerte, and we actually get a Lightning Dragon for free off of the Ogre Princess, and we get another Lightning Dragon off of that Mix-a-Whizzle. So we are just swimming in Lightning Dragons now. Kind of makes me want to take Bounty Board, but we're already in Mages, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that Rune Stones, replacing Skip's Puzzle Rune and putting us up to 5.1. Definitely feeling like a Wonder Waddle game right now. We are extremely powerful. We've got an upgraded Wizard's Familiar, we've got a hat and a ball, and we're Zippy the Zombie. So we're only going to get stronger as this game goes on. One thing that I'm not sure if I will actually do in this shop is I could potentially lock onto the Robin Hood here, just because it's a somewhat interesting target to throw our Evil Twins on, but to be honest, I will probably just wind up Evil Twinning these Spellweavers as much as I can. The big incentive to start Evil Twinning Robin Hoods is then I can get a tier 6 treasure off of this Rune Stones. I could try to wait and grab a tier 7 treasure once I hit level 6, but I'm probably not going to be patient enough to do so. And I actually wind up grabbing a Robin Hood off of the Ogre Princess, so maybe that is the route that we will wind up going. You can see that I decided to not pick up the Lightning Dragon in the previous shop. The main thing being that I didn't want a level 5 treasure. And then I'm going to go for this Masquerade Ball, basically hoping for Hercules. If I could find Hercules or even Good Boy or Green Knight, I would be really excited to pick up either of those. Bearstain, not super excited for. Oh yeah, and then Empress P. I also would have been excited for that one. But basically, just trying to turn this Rune Stones into a tier 7 treasure. Not really going to wind up working out, so I'm not going to worry about it. Then I'll finish off the turn by picking up another Spellweaver. But I think the plan next turn is to Evil Twin this Robin Hood and grab ourselves a tier 6 treasure. Because there's a lot of interesting tier 6 treasures that can work with mages. There's some great tier 7 ones too, but for tier 5, that's the point. I'm not really looking for a tier 5 one. So we'll be skipping out on that, and we almost take out Merlin there, almost get first kill of the game. There's the Green Knight. We could potentially go for that. I don't think that that's a crazy idea as well, but ultimately I'm just going to save my gold and use that to pick up this Aeon, so that way we can start doing some other powerful things, and I'll go ahead and cast the Evil Twin on the Robin Hood. There's enough powerful treasures on tier 6 that I would be excited to grab, and Wand of Weirding is definitely one of them. Now we're going to be dual casting all of our spells here, and we should be able to make some really powerful stuff happen out of that. Luckily we have a tree to use that Flourish on, so that's nice, and I'll wind up throwing some True Love's Kisses out and making some slightly larger creatures this turn. So yeah, all of this is going pretty well. We wind up getting a bunch of gold out of that Feed the Kraken, so we still have a bunch of gold to cast a whole bunch more spells here to end off the turn. And we just picked up this Aeon this turn. It is already in the 90s. So really, really strong. We don't get a chance to cast a spell to end the turn, but ultimately we're doing really good here. And I don't actually need an Aeon right now. We already have the hat, but the idea being that if you pick up the Aeon and either triple the Aeon or put a Baba Yaga behind it, then you can potentially toss your Merlin's hat down the line and get even more powerful, similar to what we used to do with Wonder Waddle back when we had all of those crazy high rolls with that card. Pick up a triple on Spellweaver, and there's the Baba Yaga, so probably going to want to pick up that as well. Oh, I actually roll past it. Okay, well, fair enough. I'll pick up this one. And then one other route that we could be looking in the future, I've brought this up a lot with Zippy the Zombie, you use your evil twins to make a bunch of Spellweavers. That gives you tier 3 treasures. You hope to find a treasure map. And then once you have found a treasure map, then you use all your evil twins on your Aeon. You do have to find a Beauty's Influence to turn that Aeon good, but once you do so, that can be really, really strong. So it's kind of like the overall game plan, and even if we don't do all of that, we've still got Happle Wand and are doing some really, really strong stuff there. So that's sweet. All of our spells are going to cost 4 less this turn because we did have Aeon Slay backed up by Baba Yaga, and we get to deal some damage to Wonder Waddle, who did have a treasure map, so Wonder Waddle is not to be underestimated. But we're looking pretty good right about now, and I decide that I want to grab another Aeon to add onto this board. So I'll grab an Aeon, finish off the turn with a Shrivel, and not doing too much else with this one. We could have tried to do something with Hercules, kind of cool with Zippy the Zombie, because you get to make a bunch of Hercules. And then Empress P, also kind of cool with Zippy the Zombie. Excuse me, because it is a tier 6 character, so you can grab a tier 6 treasure from it. We do have a Baba Yaga right now, so we could be pumping that up and using that to also grab a nice little advantage on the board. Ultimately, I'm not sure if I really want to go for either of these things. It's kind of a tough decision. It's a lot of gold, and ultimately I think that we're best off just spending our gold towards spells and start trying to cast a whole bunch of spells again. We spent some gold this turn to pick up some Aeons, and that's sweet. Both of them actually slayed, so our spells are going to cost 6 less this turn. We were able to slay up against a summons comp. I do wind up picking up another Aeon. I'm not exactly sure why, but no tier 5 treasures are we really super excited for. I probably should have tried to complete a triple of Spellweaver first before I picked up on the Aeon, but it's all good. I'm going to roll past the Pigomorph, even though it would be really strong to have on some of these final fights here, and then I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of Spellweaver. Probably should have done that a few seconds ago to be able to get a few more buffs on that, but that's totally fine. And at this point, I'm going to roll past the Aeon. And also, this game might be over kind of soon, so I might not have a huge incentive to really try to pick up some more Aeons and stuff. We do get to make a pretty sweet shop here on this final turn, or a pretty sweet board rather, as we even get to pick up an upgraded Scion of the Storm, but I throw in a Baba Yaga and a Boomhilda behind an Empress P. Unfortunately, my opponent's Lightning Dragon takes out my Baba Yaga, but we still get an absolutely massive Boomhilda in the back line there, so that's pretty cool. And it's us versus Wonder Waddle in the finals. New Wonder Waddle versus old Wonder Waddle. They have found a mirror, and they are going to try to scam us, but we're a little bit too big, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for my opponent to scam us here, and we just have so much going on. I'm going to go ahead and pick up a Spellweaver first. Again, that was a chance to potentially find treasure map because I can make 2 more Aeons right now, or I could make Baba Yagas, and I felt like at this point in the game, just making Baba Yagas because I missed on the treasure map is probably going to be the best way to go. And then what I can do with this is find a tier 6 treasure for free. So that's the idea. And I actually am going to be able to find a pretty nice tier 6 treasure because it's probably the last turn of the game. I'm not going to go for that Pandora's box, but I am going to pick up a 9th Book of Merlin and cast a few more spells before the clock runs out there. But now all of my mages, when they die, will potentially try to counter scam my opponent, as they have got a whole bunch of scam going on here. They've got the Cupid, they got the monster book, and then they got that pumpkin in the back row. But honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances to take my opponent out here. They are able to pigomorph our Aeon, but we still have a whole bunch of other huge characters to throw at them. So time to find out what is in this pumpkin. My opponent does get 2 monster books and a rotten applewood, but it's a backline rotten applewood that is actually going to trade with our Scion of the Storm, but it's not going to be enough. We are just able to overwhelm my opponent here with so much magey goodness, and I thought this was just a really, really dominating performance for Zippy the Zombie. I actually recorded this game initially, like right after I was posting about Wonder Waddle Week, and posted, I recorded this game on October 18th initially. So one programming note, we probably are going to do 1, maybe 2 more videos of old content, and then everything else, so like starting on Saturday or Sunday, or maybe even as soon as Friday, everything is going to be post Heart Attack content, all games that I've played a lot more recently, so we'll see some more updated artwork and stuff like that, though not much has changed in the patches, and I thought this was a really sweet game that I still wanted to showcase it for you guys. And that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace.